The other day while walking here on Island Highway, I found this coin. I thought it was like a money, but I found these before once or twice, usually well worn, run over a few times. The Ten Commandments. You have no other gods before me. Yep, okay, I got that down, Pat. You shall not make any idols. Okay, no problem. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Yep. Remember the Sabbath day. Yep, no problem. Honor your mother and father. Okay, I got a problem with that big time. My parents were not Christian people when both of them died separately over the years. Not a single person at either event, even though some were Jehovah's Witnesses, independent Christians like myself, or members of the United Church of Canada. No one, not a single person said they went to heaven or paradise. There was no reading from the Bible either that I remember. Yep, I'm trying to think. I don't recall any reading of the Bible. There was food, there was liquor, and in the case of my dad, a jazz band. He would have liked it. Jesus said, of course, in the Gospel, in the New Testament, if you do not hate your mother and father, you cannot follow me. His father on earth was Joseph, of course, but the death of Joseph or what happened to him is not mentioned anywhere in the Bible. At one certain point, he just is no longer mentioned. At the time of his death or close to it, he specifically told the Apostle John to look after his mom, which is nice. And his mom's still in the picture afterwards, amongst the other apostles. 6, you shall not murder. Yep, never done that. You know what a great way to avoid murdering people? Those great hard-working people at the emergency room who earn their money. There is many a person who should be doing 25 years to life, but instead they're out on the street in 2 years or less because after stabbing the person 7 times, the staff at the hospital saved them, or after they were shot or beaten with a baseball bat to the head. You shall not commit adultery. Yep. The Bible allows polygamy, so does the Koran. Our weird government in Ottawa of homosexuals and demon-type people and good people who are just doing the wrong thing and whatever. They say it's totally okay for homosexuals to adopt children of the same sex as them. They say it's totally okay for a 99-year-old man to marry a 19-year-old man, or a 58-year-old woman to marry a 19-year-old woman. But you can't have polygamy. But you're not supposed to commit adultery. And in Jesus' time, a lot of people, the custom was if a woman spent even a night in his bed overnight, they became a couple. You were considered married. Eventually, the rabbi would come around and do the official deed. But that's how it went. You shall not steal. Yep. I can honestly say when I was on welfare, I did not steal. When I was homeless, I did not steal. Some guy in the Hells Angels, a black dude on roller skates, I was lined up at the UGM mission there in Vancouver, downtown East Side. They do great work. They house people who are homeless like I was. They give out food. He said he was offering weed. He said everyone pays up front, no credit. And he goes, except for Greg. Greg gets it free. Someone else offered to front me 1,000 grams of crack, an East Indian man who was running a business down there. His partner kind of freaked, and he told his partner to be quiet. I declined. And some black girl wanted me to be her pimp. And some white woman offered to marry me. I'm mentally kicking myself in the head years later about those Indian guys that were hanging out there. I never had a problem with them. We'd kind of nod, say hi, and go our separate ways. There was a girl walking down the street with a big overcoat. I'm walking by, and she opens it, and she's a hottie in a bikini, but I just kept on walking. I hope she found the right man and things are going on for them. I won't say their lead guy was the toughest guy on the street, but there were times that night where he was definitely the toughest, most feared man on the street, and I mean East Hastings. I've worked for 50 employers in my life. Only 2 ever stole from me and didn't do the right thing within a year. And that was Lordco Auto Parts and DSL HUD Lordco, or whatever they're calling themselves this week. I'm not a fan of the Liberal government, as people know, but one good thing Mr. Carney said is he's going to go after wage theft. He specifically said we're going to go after companies that engage in wage theft. And wage theft is simply when you do work your shift and they don't give you your pay. The Demco company, besides ripping me off, there was a case and it made the media, and I put it on Google Groups, Vancouver General Group. The decision from Vince Reedy, the arbitrator, they had unionized truck drivers. It's right there in the contract. And for 6 months, they didn't pay them their rate. They just rip them off every time. And they got dragged into the courts, into the labor relations system, and they all got their money. But the company has no incentive to do the right thing because they don't get any punishment other than having to deal with the tribunal. I'm sure there's people that and I know I've met people that they won't make a fuss because they're terrified of losing their job or something, or they already quickly line up other work and they can't be bothered with the hassle of getting their pay from their old employer. And I've heard of employers ripping people off, but they go, but if you look for other work, I'll say good things about you. So you'll get a reference. Trump just said today, and I'm no Trump fan, that he's going to go after the meat packer companies foreign that are ripping off Americans. For Canadian meat packing companies, for Canadian ones, just were fined $87 million for price fixing. Meat. I've seen pictures on the internet of $117 for 3 sirloin steaks. I've only had 2 steaks in 10 years myself. I should cut back on my meat. You're successful companies. Why are you price fixing? Keaton Weston inherited his fortune. He built it even more. He's a billionaire, and he ripped off the price of bread for years at his superstore and other stores. He got caught. He didn't fight it much. He pleaded guilty. And everyone who signed up for credit got $25 of a in-store voucher. No hassle at all. You shall not lie. Been known to be guilty of that when drunk. I've been sober almost 4 years now. Don't lie. And you shall not covet. Definitely not. When I was homeless, I'd walk around Cole Harbor. I'd look at those yachts or the people driving their Lexuses or the Hells Angels with their Rolls Royce, the white Rolls Royce, or the Harley Davidson. Go right on. That is cool. I don't care what you did to get it. I enjoy looking at it. You're making my life better by driving that on the street. There's another thing on the back. I'm not going to bother showing that. So, I'm going to get on with my night.